The prairie hasn't changed much. The wind still whispers through the tall grass. The sun still rises over the same golden fields. The creek still runs clear and steady, just as it did in 1974. But the faces we once knew, the children who played in that creek, the parents who built a home on that land, have journeyed far. 49 years, almost half a century since Little House on the Prairie first graced our screens. A show that wasn't just entertainment, but a moral compass for generations. Today, we don't just look back with nostalgia, we look with wonder. Because the cast of Little House didn't just play roles. They lived values, and those values shaped the lives they've led long after the final episode aired. So, let's take a gentle walk down memory lane, not to gawk, but to honor, as we explore the then and now of the beloved cast, and the incredible ways they've changed and stayed the same. Michael Landon, 1936-1991. Charles Ingalls in 1974. Michael Landon was already a TV legend. Little Joe from Bonanza, the heartthrob with the soul of a poet. But as Charles Ingalls, he became something deeper, a father to a nation. With his gentle eyes, steady voice, and unwavering moral clarity, he taught us that real strength lies in kindness, honesty, and showing up for your family, no matter the cost. But time didn't grant him many nows. In 1991, at just 54 years old, Michael passed away from pancreatic cancer. His final public appearance was on The Tonight Show, where he said, "I've had a wonderful life." He never saw the 2000s, never saw how his show would stream into homes worldwide. But his legacy? It's everywhere. His children, especially Leslie Landon, who played Etta Plum, have kept his spirit alive through charity, storytelling, and preserving his humanitarian work. So, while Michael isn't now in body, he's very much now in every parent who says, "What would Pa do?" Karen Grassle, b. 1942, Caroline Ingalls in 1974. Karen Grassle was the quiet strength behind every scene. Ma Ingalls, the woman who held the family together with grace, wisdom, and a steady hand on the stew pot. She wasn't flashy. She didn't need to be. Her power was in her presence. Today, at 81, Karen is still radiant, still speaking, still acting, still advocating. She's written a memoir, Bright Lights, Prairie Dust, where she shares her journey, from Broadway to the prairie, from fame to feminism, from playing Ma to becoming a voice for women's rights and environmental causes. She's been married, divorced, raised a daughter, and lived life on her own terms. And when fans meet her at conventions, she doesn't just sign autographs, she listens. Just like Ma would, Melissa Gilbert, b. 1964, Laura Ingalls in 1974, Melissa Gilbert was just 9 years old, a whirlwind of braids, bare feet, and boundless energy. She was Laura, curious, impulsive, brave, and full of heart. She grew up on screen, from the little girl who met Nellie Olson, to the young woman who married Almanzo Wilder. At 59, Melissa is a mother, author, activist, and former president of the Screen Actors Guild. She's been through marriages, health struggles, including a battle with chronic pain, and even ran for U.S. Congress in 2022, proving Laura's fire never dimmed. She still speaks about Little House with love, but also with honesty. She's written books about her journey, including Prairie Tale, where she reveals the joys and challenges of child stardom. And yes, she still has that spark in her eyes. The one that said, "I'm not afraid to try." Melissa Sue Anderson, b. 1962, Mary Ingalls in 1974. Melissa Sue Anderson was the good daughter, gentle, obedient, and deeply spiritual. As Mary, she embodied grace under pressure, especially after losing her sight. But off-screen, Melissa was fiercely independent. In the 1980s, she made a bold choice. She left Hollywood. She moved to Canada, stepped away from fame, and focused on family. Today, at 61, she lives a quiet life, rarely giving interviews, rarely attending conventions. But she's not forgotten. She wrote a memoir, The Way I See It, where she shares her truth about the pressures of fame, her decision to walk away, and her life as a wife and mother. She may not be in the spotlight, but Mary's dignity lives on in her choices. Alison Arngrim, B. 1962, Nellie Olsen, Nellie Olsen, the girl we loved to hate. In 1974, Alison Arngrim was just 12 years old, but she played Nellie with such delicious wickedness, she became TV's most iconic brat. But behind the pink dresses and cruel remarks was a brilliant young actress, and a survivor. Today, at 61, Alison is one of the most outspoken and beloved members of the cast. She's a comedian, author, and activist, especially for LGBTQ+ rights and child abuse survivors. She bravely shared her own story in her memoir, Confessions of a Prairie Bitch. She tours the world with her one-woman show, makes hilarious TikToks, and still signs autographs with a wink. Don't worry, I'm nice now. Nellie may have been mean. But Alison, she's all heart. Victor French, 1934-1989, Mr. Edwards in 1974, Victor French rode into Walnut Grove on horseback, rough, bearded, and full of soul. As Mr. Edwards, he gave us the ultimate friend, loyal, flawed, and endlessly loving. He and Michael Landon were real-life brothers, creating Highway to Heaven together after Little House. But Victor's now was cut short. He passed in 1989 at 54 from lung cancer. Yet his spirit lives on. Fans still say, be someone's Mr. Edwards. And in a world that often feels cold, that's a legacy worth remembering. Catherine McGregor, 1925-2018. Harriet Olsen in 1974. Harriet Olsen was the town's most feared and funniest busybody, always scheming, always judging, always wearing that feathered hat. Catherine McGregor played her with such zest. She stole every scene she was in. She lived a long life, passing in 2018 at 93. In her later years, she became a devout Buddhist, finding peace far from Harriet's sharp tongue. Fans were surprised but also moved. Even the villain found grace. The children, then and now Matthew Labayorteaux, James Cooper, went on to star in Whiz Kids and Deadly Friend, and now works behind the scenes in Hollywood. Rachel Longacre, Rose Wilder, passed away in 1999, a tragic loss. Jonathan Gilbert, Willie Olson, stepped away from acting. Lived privately and sadly passed in 2024, a recent heartbreak for fans. But the ones who remain, they carry Walnut Grove in their hearts. The legacy, why it still matters, after 49 years, Little House isn't just a show, it's a touchstone. In a world of chaos, it reminds us, family is everything, kindness is strength. Home isn't a place, it's the people who love you, and the cast. They didn't just act those values. They lived them. In their careers, their activism, their quiet choices, and their enduring love for the fans who never forgot them. So, as the sun sets over the prairie one more time, we don't say goodbye. We say thank you. Thank you for growing up with us. Thank you for showing us how to age with grace, speak with courage, and live with purpose. You were more than actors. You were our teachers, our family, our forever friends.